Hello and welcome to the Stretching a Dollar for Entrepreneurs show. I am your host and author of the book, Stretching a Dollar to Save and Make Thousands, an Entrepreneur's Guide to Doing More with Less, Lisa Sims. And I thank you for joining me on this Monday morning. My Monday is getting off to an interesting start, so I hope yours is doing well also. And I am excited about today's show. But before we jump into today's show, we always like to get a little housekeeping out of the way. And one of the things we always like to start off with is to let you know how you can keep up with the Stretching a Dollar for Entrepreneurs show. You can listen to us and watch us live on Facebook as well as YouTube. We will be live streaming every Monday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. And the handle where you can find us is Stretching a Dollar. We've made it very, very simple. And also, you can listen to us on major podcast directories. Apple's podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Pandora, you name it, we are there. So we have you covered, whatever method you would like to use to be able to listen and stay in the know with the Stretching a Dollar for Entrepreneurs show. We have you covered. And also, if you would like to be a guest, we will be having guests a little later, well, probably beginning of December. We're getting our website up and running the way we want it to. And so we will be looking for guests. And as I always like to say, I like guests, but you must be able to talk about a particular subject for 30 minutes or more, and it must pertain to the topic and theme of this show, which is Stretching a Dollar for Entrepreneurs. So if you can do that, you'll be able to be a guest on the show, and all you would need to do is go to our website, which is stretchingyourcash.com, and you can visit there, and there will be a link available where you can submit your information. I'll review it and I will be in contact. And also, as I mentioned last time, I am now an author, so I have several books that are available. And so if you are trying to break into the online kind of teaching space or putting your information online, my latest book, Effective Digital Learning, will help you to do that as well. And if you're trying to start an e-commerce site, I also have a book available as well. And so you can find my books on Amazon and any online book retailer. So I've been busy, as you can see, and I'm still busy, but I'm not just busy, I am productive. So there is a difference, and I hope the same for you. And so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into today's topic because I am excited about it. And it has to do with National Entrepreneur Month, which November is. And so being an entrepreneur is not an easy thing at all. It is not for the faint of heart. And so I always like to tell people, it has its ups and downs, but mostly in the beginning, it has its downs until you can get up. And we've all been conditioned. Some people may say, well, no, I have not. Well, for those of us that have been conditioned to have a paycheck every 2 weeks or once a month or however the frequency is, we have learned to live by that because we all have bills to pay, we have lifestyles to lead. And so being an entrepreneur, that steady stream of income doesn't necessarily come right away. It comes, but it takes a minute. I know for me, when I was working my full-time job as a web and database developer, and I had just really gotten burned out from it, and I went to I think it was about a 6-week entrepreneur course sponsored by my local chamber of commerce, and I went and I heard all these speakers, and they were speaking on entrepreneurship, and it resonated with my soul. I was like, this is what I've been missing instead of fighting traffic and sitting behind a desk writing code all day. And so at the end of that particular 6-week course, I resigned from my position as a web and database developer and decided to launch out and do the IT mechanic. And I was so excited and everything. And so what I found out once I jumped is that the money wasn't there initially. I was used to getting a paycheck, but hey, I had to try to hustle and find clients, and it's not an easy thing to find clients and try to get people to believe in you and take a chance on you, because number one, no one had heard of me, and I did all the things that you were supposed to do: join your local chamber of commerce, networking events. I mean, I did it all, and it took a minute for things to start to pick up and for money to come in. And so the life of an entrepreneur in the beginning is not glamorous. It's really not glamorous, not for the faint at heart, because you have to be able to weather the storm. And one of the speakers at my entrepreneurship course that I took said something interesting that really I still don't agree with to this day. I didn't agree with it when it was said, and I don't agree with it now. Is he said, before you start your business, you need to have at least 3 times your salary saved. Just think about that. 3 times your salary. I was like, well, if I had to have 3 times my salary saved, I would never start, because it would take me forever to actually save that type of money. And for most entrepreneurs, that's the case. We are bootstrapping. We're using credit cards. I interviewed a potential guest once, and I spoke about using credit cards to finance a business. And he was like, well, I don't believe in using credit cards to finance a business. Okay. I was like, okay, we're one of those. I was like, okay, I don't think this is going to be a good fit then. I mean, I don't like credit cards. I don't like credit card debt. But when you don't have that, as an entrepreneur, you just can't walk into a bank. Even if you have a well thought out business plan, you can't just walk in the bank and get a loan for your business. It just doesn't work that way. And most of the time when we're trying to finance these businesses, we're doing every possible thing that we can to come up with the money to actually start these businesses. So I thought that was just a little, I don't know, privilege, shall we say. But to each his own. But most entrepreneurs, when they get started, are using their own money to finance their businesses. And before I go any further, the topic for today is 5 ways to find money for your business. And so the first way is, of course, you use your own money, because who else is going to give you money? And so, as we've seen in the news, we've seen that people from Twitter, you wake up, well, you went to bed with a job, you wake up to an email telling you that you don't have a job. Imagine that. Meta is laying off people. I mean, you just name it. It's just the uncertainty of your job. So you have to kind of weigh that to say, okay, well, is someone else going to be in charge of my fate, or am I going to be in charge of my fate? Either way, you just don't know what's going to happen. But at least if you're in control of it, you do have a little bit more of a say. Now, I know what it's like to be let go from a job when I was a consultant. When the budgets get tight, the consultants are the first ones to be let go. And I was working for AT&T, and this was years ago. I was working for AT&T on a project, and the budget, budget got low. Money problems. And I remember being called into the manager's office and being told that, hey, in 2 weeks we're going to have to let you go because the budget is low. Okay. Now, what he didn't know is that, hey, I was just recently engaged, planning a wedding, trying to plan my life, and all of a sudden here I just got the whammy laid on me that, hey, you're not going to have a job in 2 weeks. Talk about being depressed. Oh, I still remember how that felt. That's been about over 20 years ago, but the feeling never goes away. And so being an entrepreneur helps you to be able to determine your fate, because at that time I wasn't in the entrepreneurship. I wasn't thinking about entrepreneurship. I was just kind of going along with the flow. And so what I want you to do is I want you to think about whether, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, you already know why you feel passionately about being an entrepreneur. If you're not an entrepreneur, then maybe that's something you need to think about. Think about maybe is entrepreneurship for you. And so we know that most businesses fail. Why? Lack of financial resources. And so the money is not going to just necessarily come. And I'm going to give you some ways to be able to have money to be able to start. Now, you can't just go full throttle and just open up, let's just say, a spa type of brick and mortar business. But, there are some things that you can start right away that will lessen the financial burden. And so for this National Entrepreneur Month, I want us to start thinking like entrepreneurs and think smart and work smarter and not harder. Because there's only so many hours in the day. There's only 24 hours in a day. And by the time you account for, if you're working full time, trying to do your side hustle, trying to take care of your family, you're commuting back and forth if you have a job, or you're working remotely, and also you factor in some sleep, your hours have suddenly become very, very small. And so to help you to be able to find some resources, some money for your business, I am going to provide you with 5 ways that you can find some money for your business. And number 1, I touched on it briefly, and that's funding it yourself. And I know I did this with the IT mechanic, and it was difficult because I didn't have my full-time salary coming in anymore, but I had a little reserve. And so I only bought what I needed. At that time, I had a laptop, and I was working from my house. So I didn't have any additional overhead to be concerned about. So that was good. And plus I had a spouse, so that was good as well. So I had health insurance and all that good stuff. But funding it yourself is still how most small businesses and entrepreneurs get started. You start a little bit at a time. And it's easy to do that for depending on your business, whether it's a product-based business or a service-based business. For me, since the things that I do involve technology, it's a little easier. It wasn't easier then because things were more expensive. I know right now dealing with inflation, but there's still a lot of tricks that I can do and a lot of tools that I can use that are free. So that's one way you can do that. But if you can fund it yourself, that is a good way to go. Number two, I don't like this particular way, but as I said, when I interviewed the gentleman to be a guest on the show and he said his thoughts on it, it's just not realistic. If you have a credit card that you can use and just use it for the bare necessities, don't go crazy and get the latest and greatest things. You're bootstrapping, so you got to just get what you need until you can get the ship in the water and floating on its own. Don't try to get all this stuff. Just get what you need. That's what I did. And so that way you don't have all this debt that you have to pay for. And then 3, look into some of these business grants. Now, there are business grants that are available. I was reading something the other day. Verizon has a particular program. I can't remember the name of it, but Verizon has a program, and they also have online courses that you can take that can help you in the areas of marketing and promotion and technology and things of that nature. So just Google for that. I'm sorry I can't remember the name of it, but it is available when you Google. And also don't forget about the Small Business Administration website as well. They have excellent resources where you can actually find out about different funding sources. For example, there are money set aside for certain types of businesses, whether you're a minority-owned business, whether you are a woman-owned business. There are different certifications that you can get that can also help you with obtaining funding for your business, particularly when it comes to grants. So you want to check into those certifications, and there are a lot of them. So take advantage of whatever you need to be able to find funding for your business. Because if it's important to you, then you need to be able to find a way to finance it without, number one, breaking the bank, and number two, not stressing yourself out at the same time about trying to find money for a business that you want to start. And then the 4th way that you can actually fund your business. Now, I don't recommend this. I really don't, but I got to put it out here because people have done it, and it hadn't gone well, but they have done it. And that is borrowing money from friends and family. That is a slippery slope. Now, if you don't want to remain friends or family, then go ahead and borrow this money. But that's the surefire way to end a friendship and end a relationship with family members when you borrow money. So just be really, really clear on the terms of the money, of returning the money, and also just be sure that you want to go down that road, because if not, it can end very, very badly. And then the 5th way that you can find money for your business is there are also business contests that you can take advantage of and be able to pitch your business idea and to be able to win some a prize that can be used to fund your business. So there's all kind of creative ways that you can find money for your business. You just have to be smart about it, and you just have to really do some research and find what works best for you. And so I hope that these particular tips that I've shared for National Entrepreneur Month really get you to thinking and get you to want to continue on the journey of being an entrepreneur. As I said, it's not an easy road. It can be, and it will be, a difficult road, but nothing worth having in life is going to be easy. I wish I could say that it is. It's not. You just got to kind of roll with the punches, and you just got to stick in there for the long haul and learn from your mistakes, because mistakes will be made, and you just have to learn from those mistakes. And that's how we grow, by making mistakes, learning the lessons, and saying, I'm not going to do that again, and fall down that, go down that road again. So I hope this was helpful for you. And I will be back next Monday again with an exciting episode. And this one's going to be about promoting you. Because if you can't promote you, then hey, how are people going to know about you and your business? So we're going to be talking marketing and promotion strategy. So I hope you will tune in for that particular episode. Again, you can listen to us on any podcast directory: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora. We are there. And also you can always watch on Facebook, on our Facebook page, Stretching a Dollar, as well as on YouTube at Stretching a Dollar, so you can stay connected to us. And so with that, I hope you have an amazing week and a great Monday. And we will see you again and talk to you again on next Monday for the Stretching a Dollar for Entrepreneurs show. Take care.